You know that feeling. You're down in your basement, crouched in front of your furnace, boiler or water heater. You've been holding that pilot button down for what feels like an eternity. You let go. Please stay on. Please stay on. Oh, thank God. Homeowners, you've been there, but plumbers, HVAC techs, you know this all too well. You got that no heat call, and you're like, ha, pilot's out. I'll pop in a new thermocouple. I'll be out of here in 15 minutes. Yeah, right. Next thing you know, it's 3 hours later. You're elbow deep into the bottom of the boiler. Your knees hurt. You know the gas valve's toast. And that easy call just turned into a mini horror movie. So this video, this one's for the DIY warriors and my fellow techs. Let's talk about pilot lights, thermocouples, pilot burners, and gas valves. When to fix it, when to run, and know how to do it the right way. Let's go! Last week, 7:15 in the morning, a no heat service call comes into my office. I'm sitting at my desk. We have an existing residential plumbing client. They've got no heat. He says he has no pilot light, and he's wondering if we can come early this morning, maybe like before we head out, because he wants to head to work. I'm like, I type in the address. Oh, it's right down the block. You know what? Easy money. Probably a thermocouple. I'll be in and out in 15 minutes. That's the wrong mentality, ladies and gentlemen. There's no such thing as a 15-minute service call. There is no possible way for a plumber or HVAC tech to do a thorough diagnosis, a repair, and a safety check, including a combustion analysis, in 15 minutes. It's not possible. And there's absolutely no value that the customer can perceive with being in and out of the house in 15 minutes, unless you're charging $10. And even then, I would want to give you 20. So I go to the service call. I'm there in literally 10 minutes. It's 7:40 in the morning. I verify that the pilot is out. I relight it. I'm holding down the red button on the gas valve. And I'm praying that's going to stay on, because I want to be in and out of there in 15 minutes. But when I let it go, pilot goes out. I'm like, all right, go to the truck, get a thermocouple. Wrong move. You know the old saying, if we ain't testing, you're guessing. If you don't have a digital manometer to read millivolts, get one. Link in the description box down below. You're not doing your job unless you're testing. Nonetheless, I go to the truck. I get myself a new thermocouple. And I take out the old thermocouple, which is this one right here. You know, that cheap Home Depot, Lowe's thermocouple that just like welds itself in there and never wants to come out again. You guys are familiar with this. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't look beat up, but at least the tip. But she no good. At least I thought. Put a new thermocouple in, holding down that plunger again. That's holding open that gas valve to the pilot burner. And I'm holding it down. I let it go. You know what happens. Pilot goes out. I'm about to duplicate that service call right here in the Mikey Pipes HVAC Training Facility at our Woodmere, New York location. We're going to go over step by step what I did wrong, and how we can do it better the next time around. Let's go! I'm at the service call. The pilot is out. The homeowner turned off the power at the top of the basement stairs, and he tried relighting it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try relighting it ourselves, right? We're going to hold down the plunger on the gas valve, get a flame there. We have a nice, strong pilot flame. We're going to hold this down for a minute, and when we let it go, the pilot goes out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is the first thing that goes through your mind right now? Take a minute. First thing that goes through your mind, the thermocouple is no good. Correct? Can we all agree? Myself included. Let's all agree. That is the wrong mentality. That is the complete wrong mentality. We need to check to see how much voltage is being created by the tip of the thermocouple sitting in the flame. So what we're going to do, we're going to test. I am going to use this 7/16 and 3/8 box wrench, flare box wrench. Link in the description box down below. We're going to loosen up our connection, the 3/8 connection going to our gas valve. So there is that tip that was going to the thermocouple tapping on the gas valve. Now we're going to test that. To test the thermocouple, I am going to use a Fluke. This is the 116 multimeter. It gives us the ability to test in millivolts. You know what, we're going to put this maybe right here. Hopefully you can see that. Now I have my two leads have alligator clips on them. One clip is going to go on the copper, is going to go on the tip right there. Watch what we're going to do. I'm going to hold down that plunger. All right, gas is now flowing from the pilot valve on our gas valve through our gas tubing to our pilot burner. We're going to light that. Okay, let's watch our millivolts rise on our multimeter. Now, you know how they say you got to hold it down for 60 seconds to get a good reading. We're going to hold it down for 60 seconds to see if we get a good reading. Now we need to be in the 20s to 30 millivolts. If you're not in that range, the chances are that your thermocouple is bad and needs to be replaced. If you go into the high teens, low 20s, there is a possibility that it will work, but oftentimes not, it won't. So right now we are about, 30 seconds into it. I'm not counting, right? You guys know how this process works. You hold it down, you wait what you think is a minute, when actually it's 20 seconds, you let go of it, and the pilot goes out instantly, right? And then you hold it down again, you relight it. Yeah, look at that, what that just happened there. You see that, right? Let me show you guys with the lights off to show you what's actually going on here. Okay, watch this, guys. Right, there's no flame. Look at that. Care to explain why that is? We have 17, almost 18 millivolts of power there. Okay, I let go of that plunger that's holding open that gas valve. Right, the pilot goes out. I'm only at 17 millivolts. My thermocouple is not even connected to the gas valve, and there's not voltage connected to the gas valve either. I just have it installed in such a fashion where inlet gas is being supplied on the half-inch tapping. We're generating 20.6, 27.9, 21 millivolts of voltage from that tip of that thermocouple. But when I let go of the plunger on the gas valve, pilot is out. If I push this down again, ladies and gentlemen, let's speak about what's going on right now. How is this happening? How is this happening? How is this happening, ladies and gentlemen? Right, I'm holding down the plunger, and the pilot relights without a flame being there. How and why is that happening? Think about it. How is that happening? The reason is quite simple, ladies and gentlemen. The tip of the thermocouple, she's got some heat there. And as the gas is flowing out of the pilot tubing, it relights. See? Look at that. So we have around 21 millivolts that was being generated from that thermocouple, right? Even after X amount of time. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have about 20 millivolts, 21 millivolts being generated by the thermocouple sitting in the pilot flame. 21.4, 0.5, 0.6. So how many of you would be changing the gas valve right now? How many of you? How many? How many of you would be changing the gas valve right now? How many of you would be changing the thermocouple right now? Let's change the thermocouple, right? We're going to take off our leads, and we're going to take out the thermocouple that was literally just resting there. I didn't actually have it threaded in, but a cheap Home Depot thermocouple. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, I have a new thermocouple here. I am going to thread that into the bottom of the pilot burner. How many of you actually pull, let me see a show of hands or a show of comments. How many of you actually pull the pilot burner and the pilot burner tubing out of the system when you're replacing a thermocouple? How many of you do it? I try to do as little as possible. I work smarter, not harder. I'm not saying you're stupid if you pull that out, but if you can get your hand in there and unthread that, either with your fingers, your fingertips, or with a little baby mini channel lock, or Nipix, or adjustable, whatever you want to call it. If I could not remove the pilot burner or that burner tube, right, the less risk is better. Don't touch what you don't have to. What happens when this pilot tubing is corroded and it crumbles apart and you're replacing it? Okay, it's needed, right? But if you broke it, sometimes you can be like, oh, it wasn't broken before, and they complain and it's like, oh, I don't want to pay for that. You know, you broke it. You know, especially if you have the ones that are helicoptering over you. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so before I actually hook up this new thermocouple to the gas valve, we are going to test it. Let's turn the gas back on and let's light this pilot. Let's see, I may not have, yeah, good connection there. All right, so we're at 3 millivolts and climbing. Let's see what we get, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, 60 seconds. Hey Siri, set a timer for 60 seconds.
60 seconds, counting down.
And this one's slowly climbing. That's because we're not really on it, I don't think. Let's reposition ourselves right there. Good. There we go. Okay. You have to have a good contact point on the thermocouple. So here it is. Let's see how long we are into this. We are almost at a minute. We'll 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that was a minute. And look at that, the brand new thermocouple showing 16 millivolts. Brand new thermocouple. What is our diagnosis? If you answered thermocouple and thermocouple only, your answer is wrong. If you answered gas valve, ding, 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 you are a winner. The purpose of this role-playing scenario with parts that we recovered from the service call was to show and emphasize that if you're not testing, you're guessing. And I was just as guilty of being someone that could be labeled as a hypocrite, because I went into that service call earlier than normal. I'm in a rush, and I want to get the service call done over as quickly as possible, knowing that I still have to go through all the policies and procedures that my company has set forth, such as doing a combustion test, taking the burners out if possible, cleaning them, vacuuming out the combustion chamber. My company bills on a time and material basis with a minimum charge of 1 hour. It is company policy that we deliver a minimum of 1 hour service. Show value. Develop those new relationships. Strengthen existing ones. If you do that, you'll be ahead of the game. So, being a hypocrite, telling it like it is. I went in there, I took out that thermocouple, I put a new one in, and I prayed when I let go of that gas valve plunger that it would stay on. And guess what? It actually did stay on for about a minute. And as soon as I turned on power, giving the gas valve 24 volts when there was a call for heat and all the safety circuit was closed, the pilot went out. Just like that. Went to the truck, got a new gas valve, and not giving the customer pricing yet, we installed a new gas valve to continue our diagnosis and testing. And then once my diagnosis was complete, meanwhile the homeowner was helicoptering the whole time, I explained to him, sir, I've completed my diagnosis. We use new parts to facilitate the testing process on what caused the failure today. I first replaced the thermocouple. It was aged. I suspected there was something wrong with it. So I put a new one in. And as you saw, it stayed on for a minute and then it went out and was unable to be relit. So we replaced the gas valve with a brand new one for testing. And now the system is up and running. I just finished a combustion analysis proving that the system not only is burning efficiently, but most importantly, safely. Because what good is a functional heating system if it's not burning fuel properly and safely? So I verified that it's burning properly. If you would like us to proceed with the repair, the gas valve is X amount of dollars. You have X amount of dollars for labor, taxes X amount of dollars. And if you want, we take cash, debit, or credit card upon completion of the service call. How would you like to proceed? And you leave it at that. All right? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, well thank you. Let's finish up. Perfect. You clean up the job, put valve tags on the important valves in the home. And in my general demographic area, there are 5 very important valves in the customer's location. We have the main water valve. We're going to put a valve tag on that. We have the water feed valve for the boiler. We're going to put a tag on that. We have the cold water inlet for the water heater. We're going to put a tag on that. That's 3. You want to guess the last 2? Furnace, boiler, valve number 4, and number 5 is the water heater. 5 important valves that you're going to place on your customer's valve, and you're going to show to them and explain to them, does everyone in this home know where these important valves are? And if they don't, explain it to the individual, the one that you're dealing with, interacting with. If possible, get the spouse involved. Bring them down there. Right? If there's an adult child living in the home, bring them down. Or even a teenage child, bring them down. Show them how it works. Okay? And it's also a good opportunity to test those valves. Make sure that they turn. If it's a ball valve, make sure there's no corrosion, what have you. Make sure it's not fully rusted up. If it doesn't want to turn, make them aware. Listen, I'm not here for this, but making you aware. If you need to use this valve, it's not working. I wouldn't touch it right now. And I was like, but if you want, we could change it. We can do it now. We can do it later. Whatever your policy permits, I would recommend that. Develop those relationships, strengthen existing ones, and you don't be surprised when you walk out of the home, they're giving you a gratuity to show their appreciation that they feel they got the value and you went above and beyond during that service call. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed content like I just created just now, let me get your thoughts and feedback in the comment section down below. If you would like certain videos created and discussed on this channel, please let me know. Send me an email to mike@mikeypipes.com. My name is Mike Dyack. I'm a licensed master plumber in the states of Florida, South Carolina, New York, also an HVAC contractor in those 3 states. If you reside in our service territories, I would love to help you. Details at pipedoc.net. Thank you again for watching. Be well, God bless, stay safe. And I'd like to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Bosch Home Comfort Products, U.S. Boiler Company, Webstone, Whale McLean, and Taco. If you're a sales representative or represented manufacturer and would love to sponsor the Mikey Pipes HVAC Training Center, we are part of the Mikey Pipes Philanthropy 501c3 IRS recognized public nonprofit charity with a mission not only to strengthen the technicians and plumbers that are in the field, but the new and up and coming ones. But our primary goal is to help those in the community who can't afford to hire a professional for a plumbing, heating, or cooling issue in their home. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Be well, God bless, stay safe. Oops, almost forgot. Let's not forget about Modine. We just signed them up last week. Thank you so much to all the manufacturers for supporting the channel. If you're a plumbing or HVAC service tech and live or reside in the Long Island, New York City metropolitan area, open enrollment for the Mikey Pipes HVAC live fire training class is officially open. Our first class will be on Monday, April 28th, 2025. The class will start at 7:30 p.m. It's limited to a max of 3 attendees and will last for approximately 1 hour. If you would like to sign up to this first class or join the wait list, email me, mike@mikeypipes.com.